Hello, everyone. This is Pastor Lan again coming to you for another exciting week on the Light360 broadcasts. Last week was so powerful, so powerful. In fact, this season 2, has been amazing. All manners of powerful stories and inspiring stories of people, and I'm so glad at those of you that have been sending me comments and feedbacks, and those who have been participating, joining us in this amazing discussions that I've been having with people. So I want to welcome you all again for joining us. I'm going to give some time for people to join. We are streaming live on various platforms. My official page on Facebook and my personal page, and also on Instagram and my YouTube page and Periscope too. So just pick one that works for you and join us. So thanks to those who are already joining. Will be great. If those of you joining us, I love to hear and see where you're joining from. So some of you, if you want to, just type where you are joining us from, so that we can know who we are. At least have an idea of some people that we're talking to. So I'll be watching out for that while I continue. Also, please, you can participate in this discussion as we start to talk. I have somebody, I'll be introducing him in a short while, but it's going to be a powerful, wonderful time today. Light360 is set up to be a place where people can tell their stories. You can hear the stories of people. Everybody has a story, and we all get inspired by stories. So through somebody's stories, there's something that you connect with, and it helps you as you also advance in God's purpose for your life. So that's what Light360 is about. 360 is 360 degrees everywhere, all around, light everywhere. So we look for people that are shining as light in their spheres of influence, and then they tell their stories, and then you are inspired to go forth and also continue to shine as a light in your own sphere of influence. So that's basically what the idea of Light360 is about. Most of the people that come on this show are people who have gone through our Leading Lights training at the Life Development Center. So the Leading Lights training is a training that we organize to help people discover their purpose and help them to organize their lives so that they can go ahead and start working in the fulfillment of God's purpose for their lives. The Leading Lights training, right now, thousands of people have passed through it. And I'm so excited every time I hear the stories of people and the impact on them and what they are doing in their spheres of influence. So we're going to go right ahead. I'm waiting for you guys to tell me where you are watching from, so don't be shy. Post it in there. I'll be able to display it, when you guys will display on the screen, when you put it in there. So without wasting any more time, I have somebody that is going to be joining us today. Wonderful person, dear to me, dear to my heart. It's one of those people that, I believe God has brought into my life. I believe there are no coincidences. So anyway, I got to know him just a few years ago, came into the City Light Church and did the Leading Lights training. But I've gotten to know him more over the past few months. And, he's one of those people that, I believe God is raising up for something amazing in our generation. He's a wonderful person. He's somebody who is, you will get to know about him, but he's a cool guy. Thank you, Pastor Tade. Good to see that you're watching from Florida. He's a cool guy. Somebody that, he's an honorable man. That's what I call him. I call him a man in whom is no guile, like Jesus said. He's just a beautiful person, beautiful soul. You will get to know him as we continue this conversation. So without wasting any more time, I'm going to be bringing on stage our guest for today in the person of Joachim Borha.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Hello, world.
Yeah, welcome. And thanks for joining us on Light360 for today.
Yes, it's so good to be here. Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor, necessarily, for inviting me. I don't know where you keep getting all these compliments from. I don't know this person, but I will always try to live up. Let me tell you, I don't know who this person is.
No, you're a good guy. I know it's we
Yeah, I
can
wish.
see it. Sometimes we don't know it fully ourselves, but it takes others to tell us. So
Oh,
you're
thank
a
you again.
wonderful guy, great guy, and I'm glad to know you. Privileged to know you, and thanks for joining us for Light360 today. So
Thank
the
you.
fourth question I usually ask everyone that comes on is, who are you? So who is Joachim Borha? Tell us a bit about
Yeah.
yourself.
Well, I mean, that's a myriad of answers for you. First, I can start with my name. My father reminds me about my name so often. It's Joachim, named after Saint Joachim, which is the foster parents of Mary, so Saint Joachim and Saint Anne. And my parents are very, very, very Catholic people, and I love them. They're so Catholic. They love, they go to church every Sunday and Bible study and prayer meeting on Fridays and different things like that. So and that's how we all grew up, to be honest with you. Very, very Catholic. I was an altar server. My brother was studying to be a priest. He was a sacristan. And we had an amazing childhood that was filled with, it was so prayerful. First of all, the Catholic prayers are very rhythmic. They're meditative. So
I know that because I grew up Catholic too. My name Gregory was my baptismal name.
Yeah. Oh, say it again. What was your baptismal name?
Gregory.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Wonderful. Yes. I knew. I heard some Catholic in you. I think it was 2 Sundays ago. There was a prayer that you did at the end. And I was like, oh, make me an instrument as your peace, huh? Yes. Okay. That's some Catholic right there.
I was, altar boy, all those stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So you already know, we grew up that way, and there's a lot of places for the youth to really be active in the Catholic Church, Boy Scouts, Knights of Peter Claver, Junior Knights of Peter Claver, things like that. There was a lot to do in the church. So that was where all my friends came from. That was where I was in gospel choir for years. And then so growing up like that, it shaped partly exactly who I am. I didn't stay in the Catholic Church. It wasn't necessarily because of, lack of belief or lack of anything like that. I just, I didn't feel that my spirit was being cultivated through the Catholic Church. So I decided, to start taking some explorative measures. I try to just do different things that on different Sundays, go to different churches. I knew a lot of different pastors from I know Smokey Norfolk, obviously, when he had because you're with Pastor Hannah too, which I've definitely been to his church many times. Smokey Norfolk's church was amazing because it was right next to my college. So we used to take it was a whole gospel choir. We used to take the bus to Smoking Norfolk's church, and we all waited for him to sing. He didn't sing that much, but we waited like, oh, he's gonna sing. It was an amazing church, so different. But leaving my college, I went to Lewis University, went to Catholic school all my life, which was for college. I don't know about it. $24,000 a year. I don't know. I look at him. I'm not sure if that was the best decision, but it all of that shaped who I am. Shapes my morals and principles. It shapes how I relate with people. I feel like our generation may be some of the last generation with manners of opening doors and pulling out chairs and things.
I noticed that about you. I've met a lot of guys, raised in the United States. You were born in Chicago. Where were you born?
Born in Chicago, raised in
Chicago. Yeah. I've met a lot of guys like that. And, you really stand out. I mean, of course, I met some great guys, great guys born here, raised here. Now, somebody who is raising up boys, and a girl. I was really impressed when I met you. I mean, you are a very honorable person, honoring person. You're very kind, very
Oh,
courteous.
here we go with these.
Was that as a result of your upbringing? I mean, just tell me.
Yeah.
What I want you to talk about is that the impact of being brought up in that kind of a home on you now. Could you
Well,
talk about that? Mhm.
I feel like one of the most, besides yourself, sir, one of the most remarkable men I've met is my father, because, and my mother will say the same thing. Like, we will never meet another person like my father. It won't exist. And I'll bring him one day, but to drag him from Catholic church on Sunday to come to this, let me tell you, it's hard.
Yeah.
I've talked to him, but look, it is a difficult process. But anybody that knows my father has met my father, they're not surprised when they see me, or they're not surprised when they see my brother, because my brother is somebody else that is a remarkable person. And when he was in grade school, he finished high school at about 15, and he finished college with his master's at 19.
Wow.
So he was teaching at 19 years old, still studying to be a priest and things. He didn't end up being a priest, but when they meet my parents, and they know my parents, or they've known my parents, there's no question on how we came to be. It's just my mother is this vivacious, young, even though she's in her 60s, she's this young, beautiful woman who, very not afraid to be her Nigerian self, but at the same time is seen as a dignitary among her sisters and, different people. So, and my father is one of the most gentle souls imaginable.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the most, but he has a presence at the same time. He has I never wanted to make him upset. You don't want to make him upset, but it was a difficult thing to do, let me tell you. And when you meet him, it's hard to even describe. If he easily will pull off the shirt off his back for somebody. Actually, it caused problems in the marriage. I'm serious. Like, said, no, you can't do that anymore. We need you to keep your shirt on, type of thing. Like, it was a real. My father was just that giving spirit, that humble spirit at the same time. Never would boast. I don't know how he would write a cover letter nowadays, because you have to talk about yourself. And he doesn't do it. He just is just in tune. He's one of the most spiritual people. Every day he's going to mass. So it's all because of them. I feel like I've been very much set apart from any of the struggles of Black America. I'm a Black American, but I'm Nigerian American at the same time. But I feel like I've been very much just not even sheltered. I can't even say I've been sheltered. I've been mentally separated, from a lot of the different struggles that a lot of young men fall into,
Covered through it,
because
of your parent. I wanted to ask you a quick question on that. For those of us now who are raising kids, raising sons and all that, and I'm sure there are people that are watching now that are raising sons in America or maybe Europe and all that. What are some things that you saw from your dad, if you wanted to advise us, some things that impacted you the most, growing up, that it's part of who you are right now, that you can point out and tell us, that okay, you guys need to do this because this is very powerful.
Well, he was an example. That was the first and foremost, how he treated my mom. He wasn't the most romantic, so I had to learn that. Let me tell you, I had to read a book or something to figure it out, because, he was not that. But what he was consistent, loving, consistent in terms of, he can't. It wasn't he. He would go out to work and he would come home at 5, and he would come home with groceries. And then he would do the laundry, and he did the dishes, because my mother, she's a diva. She can't, do the dishes. Her nails, it's her nails. You can't do that. She can't do the laundry.
Is that what you do for your wife now too?
Well, but believe me, we share household responsibilities. Okay. I'm not great. I'm proud. I'm not great.
Your wife is a diva too. So.
Oh yeah. But if you see her nails, you know, it might, I don't know. She does do some dishes though, and we're gonna work on it. We're gonna work on it. You know how it is. A husband's timeline of doing something is different than a wife's timeline of doing something. So it's not.
But you already figured out when you are going to do it, right?
Exactly, and then it's done by the time I look up. I mean, I don't mean to. I don't mean to.
Why don't you let me do it? I already had a plan to do it.
It's a daily argument. Let me tell you, it really is. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Yeah. So tell us, your dad. You know, what are those things? Loving, and
So first and foremost, like I said, he was easily an example. Second of all, you know, what I loved about my father is an understanding of spirituality. He wasn't the boisterous prayer. He wasn't the loud prayer. He wasn't what you would think. He didn't quote a Bible scripture every 7 seconds or so. But what he was able to, he knew the Bible like the back of his hand. And he would just tell you, you pray, you know, calmly. Like we should, you know, if we were praying, great. But if not, you should be praying, you know, for yourself, for your family. It was almost an everyday conversation of, well, make sure you make the sign of the cross. OK, before you walk in, you know, here, or before you this interview, this team, you know, practice, or, you know, we used to have to walk to school or take the bus and different things. And sometimes it wasn't the safest. You know, sometimes we definitely were on the bus. My brother and I were on the bus to train as high schoolers and things. And sometimes it wasn't the safest, but with my father, just make the sign of the cross and you'll be fine, you know, in a calm voice, just like that. So, I mean, I can keep going. You know, there's also a sense of protection from a father being in the home. He's strong. You know, he used to lift weights when he was my age and so on. So, you know, a strong guy. And if anything, excuse my language, but if anything pops off, you know who's going to be, you know, who's in the front. You know, there was this one time we had a fire in our house, and it wasn't in our house. It was actually the house next door. But just by the commotion of my father moving, we were all awake. We all up. We all, you know, just because he's moving, he's just commands it.
He really led the family. It was
fully. So, you know, my father will never say he was a perfect man, you know, but for us, he was so close to it because he even, you know, he never really hit us ever. I can count how many times he hit me. First of all, he didn't need to. I was scared. I was nervous. You know, his voice was, I'm sure, Pastor Land, I'm so positive. When I heard your voice, when I first walked into City Light and I heard your voice, I was thinking, Dad, his kids must be perfect, bro. His kids are immaculate. Because I'll be scared as ever if I brought home a bad report card and hiccup Pastor Land. I want to be just a fly on the wall for maybe one, man, you got to see. I would love to hear it. But, you know, so that was my father. My father, he didn't have to hit us. You know, he didn't have to hit us. He didn't hit my mother made a conscious decision not to hit us after about maybe 5 or 6. But if I said the wrong thing, I got smacked. If I was chewing too loud, you got the pick, you know, blah, blah, blah. But they really didn't. They didn't hit us very often. My mother may more so have. My father would maybe once or twice if I really disrespected my mother. Let me tell you.
You see.
Exactly. There's everything is cool unless I disrespect my mother. If I disrespect my mother, it's
for me. You can't disrespect. I tell my kids, I said, okay, you can do whatever, but your mom, I'm going to, especially my boys, I say, I'm going to show you that we're all guys.
Exactly.
I will deal with you.
Exactly. Look, ask my wife, the baby, let me tell you about the baby. The baby wants to start, you know, the baby's obviously in the womb, but the baby's bothering my wife. I go up to the baby. I say, no, not today.
Yeah.
You better calm down. Ask my wife in about 1 minute. It's calm.
Calm down.
Look, you're going to know discipline before you're at year negative. Forget year zero. -1, you're going to know.
Already hearing your voice. And
exactly.
It's born. You will know. I mean, when you talk, oh, that's the guy that used to talk. Yeah, that's the way.
Yeah. You're going to know.
Instructing them from the womb.
Don't mess with this lady.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't mess with her. Don't mess with my wife. Don't do it. No, but so, and those were just some of those examples. We didn't do a lot of sports, but when we did, my brother especially, he was never into sports. So me, I tried to do some track. I tried. I wasn't good, but he showed up. By the meet, he showed up. He helped me practice, even though we couldn't afford to go and get like the equipment. So we literally, I remember, it can bring a tear to my eye a little bit, because instead of, I was throwing the discus at the time, and he would make it. He took these 2 tops, like they looked like trash can tops. They were kind of big, way bigger than a discus, obviously, and taped them together around. Yeah. And then we practiced the discus in this field. And it was, it makes me tear up a little bit, because, he, no matter what was going, he was there. He tried, may not have had all the money in the world, but we had all the love in the world. So it didn't necessarily, we didn't know. Yeah. We didn't know I didn't know I was broke until somebody introduced to me $200 pairs of shoes. Yeah. Changed my whole experience on what money was. I said, what?
Yeah.
Your shoes? I didn't, what? Mom, can I have these shoes? And she's looking at me like, what? Do you know how many pots of soup that we could get? Do you know how much ground rice? It was so, and that was for me. For my brother, it wasn't as bad, but for me, that was a huge struggle. Trying to be cool and fit in. Yeah. And not having or knowing even the popular trends. Because when we came, this is another big reason why I think I am who I am. When we left out the house, it was the world, And even I went to a majority, I want to say 99.9% of my elementary school was all Black. And then in high school, I went to a Catholic high school, St. Rita High School. So that was majority white, which mixed her up. But so we left and we went into the world. And when we came back, we were in a Nigerian household, period. There was no, we in McDonald's, please. Yeah.
You had Nigerian food.
You had that at home. There's a goosey soup. And it's your favorite.
Because, like you are describing my home, apart from the spanking part, I do spank, But I hear you. That is, often necessary. I don't do it that much. Sometimes I come, strong, I'm cool and all that. Thank God for my wife. She disciplines, she puts everything in order and all that. Yeah. But it's encouraging me, because, I always want to look at success stories of parents and look at their kids and learn. So what you're telling me right now, you are telling me that works in this setting that we're in. And I think people that are watching that are parents will be encouraged by that, because we're raising kids and we've not done it before, you understand, but we're joy support. So it's even...
It's true. Very different. It's very different.
Yeah. So basically I've been, I just feel encouraged by that, because we're trying to do that with our kids, surround them with love, encourage them, be, just be there for them and all that. So I'm praying that one day they will tell stories like this and they'll use it to inspire other people too. So
there was a distinct focus in the household, though. It wasn't just love. They didn't just use love. First of all, let me tell you, my mother she actually suffered from OCD. She really did. Okay. So, and when I mean OCD, obviously people have different types.
Order, like
clean. When I say clean out, I'm not, never mind. I was going to say something. I'm not going to, because I remembered I'm on live. I do think a lot of people do that don't know it. I'll just say it like that. But in terms of my mother was, it hindered her from working. you know, so she couldn't work. She couldn't really go out to a lot of places. She needed everything clean. So every punishment was cleaning something. You clean the house. You clean this, clean. But my friends used to make fun of me. What you doing? You washing the leaves? Are you washing the leaves again? Because, you know, it was different things, you know, it was different things that I would just be, they'll call and I'm up on the roof taking off, you know, the leaves from the gutter and different things. And it taught you. Now I'm not a dirty person. I'm not, you know, I'm not the cleanest, but I'm not.
Yeah, but
I'm not a dirty person though.
Sense of order, you know, a sense
exactly.
So what do you say with all this now? You know, one of the things that break my heart a lot right now is there's this scourge of like fatherlessness, not just absent fathers physically, but also even fathers that are in the home, but they are not you know, really present in the development of their children. Have you given thoughts to that?
Oh,
yeah.
You'll find there's not much I don't give thought to, but in terms of fatherlessness, when I was a teacher, and I taught for about 6 years, I was an elementary school teacher. I was a 6th, 7th, and 8th grade teacher at Providence Inglewood Charter School. I say it very proudly because there's a great school. And what I noticed is the defining factor between a successful student and a non-successful student is their parents.
Wow.
If you have obviously I live, you know, I've always worked in a majority African-American community, period. Always. Where I am now, you know, because a lot of the jobs I do are for impoverished communities. I love to empower. That's my thing. Empowerment, financial empowerment, especially, but empowerment. So, in knowing, working in that community, what I noticed, a lot of the students, actually, majority of students are going to come from single parent homes. When students came from 2-parent homes, the males were so much more respectful. So much more. The female students were less prone for promiscuity. Or the falling into the trap of emulating, you know, the rappers Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, and all of that, because you have so much of an example of a success in your house already. So whatever Cardi B and them have to offer is not necessarily going to be overpowering the you know, the system that is in your household. But then you have students that, you know, when they come home, their parents aren't there. You know, the parent works as a CNA at nighttime from 3 to 10, 3 to 11. And there's no a father in the household. Or if there is a father, they're not married. So you don't have success. You know, in the household. There's no system either. So a lot of the times you would see the students creating a system in their household. Well, I'm gonna feed this, you know, my little brother, and I'm gonna make sure he's doing his homework. Am I gonna do my homework? No, I'm gonna go out later. But I'm going to make sure he's doing his homework, things like that. So I think, fatherlessness is it's a huge cycle that I think befalls the African-American community. And fatherlessness is right in that cycle. It's, you know, it's a huge one, but it's right there. It definitely is.
So we'll talk more about that. So moving forward in your life story, so Catholic, you know, upbringing, that's the way my story was too. And then, of course, I began to experience that same evolution. I wanted something real, something personal. I just wanted a relationship and all that. So you talked about how you were visiting churches and all that. I want you to just link it up with when you say, I give my heart, my life to Jesus, and then link it up with how you began to discover your purpose.
That's such an interesting question, because it's a lot that goes into that. I feel like I've given my life to Jesus multiple times. I think I didn't necessarily have an understanding of it until my wife. She wasn't my wife at the time, you know, and because anyway, I'll tell you the story. She wasn't my wife at the time. She was, you know, we were, you know, in love, you know. So I was talking to her on the phone. I was sitting outside of my previous job, and she asked me, you know, we're on video call. She asked me, have you given your life to Christ?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking like, yeah. Like, you know,
Good,
one of those.
Good girl.
And then she said, and then it was that simple. And then she, I mean,
kudos to her.
Look,
I tell ladies, you know, I pastor ladies and all that. I say, you know, I have this acronym for how they make their choice. So I call it choice, like it's CHOIC. You know, I love acronyms. So
yes.
ladies or guys come to me, I say, okay, let's go through choice to make sure that you are okay. So C is Christ. Christ is number one.
Amen.
C there is Christ. Does this person have a relationship with Christ? Because if that is not there and that is not addressed, all the other things we're going to be talking about is not going to matter. You know, so I'm so glad that she asked you that question. Good.
Oh, yes. It was very, you know, because we were on the road to marriage. Mm-hmm. So that was one of those questions like, I'm going to heaven, are you? Type of thing, you know. So, you know, so I think I definitely from then on, you know, she went into a beautiful prayer for me, saying, you know, basically, you know, repeat after me, you know. She was a pastor, let's be real, you know. So she repeated after me and we went into it. And it was, I'm telling you, it was in the parking lot of outside of my job. And
you know, I wanted to say something about that. You know, I don't know if, you know, people are watching. I mean, the ladies are watching and all that. I'm sure somebody's watching. I love the way your wife was not shy. You were in America, she's in Nigeria. Usually when the lady is in, maybe she's in Nigeria, she's like, you know what if I tell this guy about Christ? What if I lose him? Or what if he doesn't, whatever?
Right.
Put that first. She's like, you know, I got to have this. And she led you to Christ. You know, like again, you know, like to make sure that was settled. Yes. Be an encouragement to ladies, guys that are watching. Don't be shy to share your faith. It is the most important thing about your life. Every guy that you meet or every lady that you meet should know, you know, should know that is your core value, your first value. You know, and any guy that can live with that guy is not meant for you.
Absolutely,
it's not meant for you. Yeah,
absolutely. And she is the sole reason I walked into City Light. I met, she told me leaving when we first met in Nigeria. That's a whole different story. But yeah, we first met in Nigeria and leaving Nigeria, she told me, look, you're going to have to find a church home before you can even talk to my father. And now this is like 2 weeks after I met her, by the way. So this is, you know what I'm saying? Like
I just love this theme about fathers, you know, and parents, you know. On our own side too, you say my parent, there's some values there's no way you will even be able to talk to them. I mean, kudos to good parents. Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's amazing to me, the Nigerian customs to me. I think if more people went through an introduction, I don't know if they could get divorced.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Like the work to get divorced. I mean, the work to get divorced now is horrible. You know, it's a horrible thing.
When after the weekend I finished, I got married. That's about 20 years ago. After that weekend, the stress I went through. What I mean by stress, like
bro,
this person, do this, bring like all the we had the engagement, we had this, we had that. By the time I was done with that wedding, I said I will never do this again in my life.
You don't understand. I'm so, oh my goodness.
I had to dance in front of people. You know, I don't like, dance, everybody looking at me. All these people gathered from everywhere. We had about 1,000 people at our wedding.
Yes.
You know,
after preaching to the choir. Preaching to the choir.
I will never do this again in my life. Once is enough. So whatever it's going to take to make sure I never have to.
You ain't going nowhere. Nowhere. It was too hard. It was too much.
Yeah.
Once I pulled up to her house and I saw the cow outside and I said, oh, it's real. There's a cow outside. Yeah. And they talked about this cow. And then my family orchestrated this cow to be sitting here. And now there's a cow outside of her residence. Yeah. I was just it was just a lot. It was just way more than any marriage in America will ever have in their whole anymore. Way more.
Don't get married too easily.
Yeah.
Get married too easily. Like there's no hurdle and all this stuff. You can easily cross to the other side and say, I'm not doing anymore. But you hurdles a lot. That when both of you look back and remember that, all the family, all the witnesses, the counseling, all the things that you had to go through.
Yes.
And say like, because when you are married, after a while, there are times during your marriage, no matter how sweet, beautiful it is, there are times during your marriage that you're going to go through challenges, you're going to do different stuff, right? But when you remember how you got into it and all the witnesses and all that, whatever issue comes up, both of you will work it out rather than saying
exactly.
Marriage is too easy now in America. People elope and all that. It's too easy. The process is too easy. Make the process a bit hard, and you will value it somehow. Yeah, go ahead.
Involve the family. That's what I think necessarily needs to happen. And here, you don't need to involve extended family or even the family. Yes. I met everybody, and they gave me the hardest time. It was tough. It was tough.
Did you go to those things that you have to pay this money, before you?
Yes, just to bring out the sisters before I could see her, and then I gotta raise the veil. So here's another $1,000. It was real. It was real. It was. I mean, and I loved it. And don't get me wrong. The whole time, I was very tired of dancing. I was, after a while, the dancing was a lot, but the whole time I had such an appreciation for what we don't do in America. Yeah. There's so much we don't involve in America that some extended families don't necessarily need to even talk to each other. Yeah. But I'm so close with her extended family, and her extended family so close with mine. Even if I thought about divorce, how many people would I have to talk to?
In some places, if anything ever happens or whatever, you will just see all the family members will just come to your house.
Exactly.
And then you see the brother, the father, all the uncles, and Joachim, what is going on?
Exactly.
And then from one family to another, your head, whatever is going on with your head, will straighten out straight away.
Exactly. Because it's too much work.
Yeah. The protection.
I understand.
We have enjoyed in our own. We have all those protections, in-law and uncles, and all kinds of people that you have to go through all those hurdles before you can even make any decision.
Exactly.
That's Apostle Emmanuel from Zambia. Well, good to see you watching. Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, I was just agreeing with you. It's very true. It's very true.
So that's how you got to into the faith, right?
Hey, Sherry.
You went to college.
Yeah, I know Sherry. Yeah, that's my homie. That's my homie. We'll talk later. We got a baby shower to go to. I wonder how it was.
I think Sherry and I have met before. She wrote a book with a friend of mine.
Wow. Yeah. Awesome. And I wonder tell me how the family is, Sherry. We definitely went to college together. That's what's up.
All right. Yes, go ahead. Yeah. So now let's talk about discovery of purpose. So you came to City Light. Your wife said you got to find a church. Why did you choose City Light? And then talk about Leading Light as we move from there. Yeah.
So I know that I wanted a church where I knew my wife, if she came, she would feel comfortable. Mm-hmm. And I also needed a church that would, and kind of be able to embrace me as well as, me being able to try to identify. So I talked to my friend Chima Inya, who I don't want to just say his name like that. He's famous out here. I can't just, but because the Inyas are real, that family is just all over in every part of the city or probably the world. So, but, he can't, right after I got back from Nigeria, I went to one of these soup kitchens. I forget which one it is right now, but he just goes there on a regular basis and he just gives out food, different things to people that's less fortunate. Yeah. So I went with them a few days and then we talked about, I need a church, man. I need a church. And he says, I got you, like he's hooking me up with something like, oh, slide my way. So I came in. The first person I talked to was Pastor Illumide, and he sold me because of just how detailed the mission of the church was that he told me. He was the first person I talked to, and then bam, he just detailed it for me. Everything. Showed me there were I see them every time I walk in, but the four pillars that are outside of the church. Yes. Yeah, and he explained everything, and it just made, I don't know, it just made sense. It just, everything made sense. Not understanding this is all divine, everything working out like puzzle pieces was all divine. It wasn't of my hand, it wasn't of Chima's hand or anything. So, but and it led me to City Light, and from then on. So you convinced me to go to the Leading Lights training. I was just like, nah, bro, I had to take a day off of work. That's a long time, that's what? But when I went, it was, I gotta say, probably the most powerful experience of my life. It definitely was. It was the most powerful experience of my life. It molded me, and it helped me to basically focus on the businesses that I wanted to do. So I went to Nigeria, and I saw my cousin. He put on this whole concert situation. It was awesome. He put this concert on. It was Burna Boy at the time. This is kind of how my wife and I fell in love. We went to this Burna Boy concert, just had the time of our lives. And then she said, okay, well, let's talk about marriage. And I'm like, sure. It really happened just like that. It was, that's scary. Anyway, so we went to this Burna Boy concert, and it was my cousin that was part of putting everything on. And I just watched him. I just watched what he was doing. I watched him work. I said, I want to do this. Like, this is something I've always known I wanted to be in the music industry. I was rapping for a long time, and I just, it wasn't feeling that. So, just, So,
let me tell you a story. I used to rap when I was in college.
We are so alike.
So it was African rap. So,
yes.
In Pidgin English and all that. So, but how my career stopped? So my rapping career ended. So I was supposed to rap somewhere. I think it was a meeting. So I was supposed to do African rap, and then I got there and I forgot all my lyrics. I was like, I forgot everything.
Wow, it happens. No, it happens. That's what you gotta do, Joy. You gotta do a freestyle. Sherry's heard me freestyle, I'm sure. I'm sure Sherry's heard me freestyle.
Embarrassed. That was in 1996 or something like that. I was so embarrassed that day. I'd never rapped again.
That's
That was the end of my rapping career. So they're time for us. Okay, so
that's so good. That's so good. And I believe me, I was rapping in church one time, and I told one of my friends, if I say, yeah, right, I know she's heard me. And if I say I come through, I'm freestyling. So, right, my first words out of my mouth, yo, I come through every time. Like, oh, he's freestyling, don't do it.
Yeah, I have you to freestyle now. Okay. Do a freestyle for us.
Oh, man, I couldn't even. Baby, I don't want to embarrass myself for you. Or I don't want you to lose viewership or anything. I'm sure you got a tight following. You don't want to lose that. You don't want to do it. It's all good.
I said,
right.
I left that career a long time ago. So I became a poet, So
me too. We did the same thing. We went the same route.
I stopped saying it or speaking it. I just write it now. I leave other people to go and say it.
I see. I got you. I was very similar. I was spoken word. I didn't do rap, but I did some spoken word. No beats, so I don't have to get off beat, because that's what happened to me all the time. It was nice. I was always rapping off beat. It was horrible.
GB, don't worry. The day that I'm going to rap, you will see it. I will just to service, and instead of preaching that day, I will just rap all through. So just watch out for that day. But it's not today.
Yeah, right. I see. I understand.
Let's continue your story. So then, what you saw that and all that. So what has that led to? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I saw him. I saw all the just the different promotions he was doing and everything.
No embarrass
Yeah. You should now. You have to rap because it's important. Now you have to. But yeah, I saw him put the show on, and I said I can do this. And so, well, here's what really happened. He told me that he wanted to do a show in Chicago. So I said, okay, or in America, really. He said he wanted to do a show in America. And yeah, I'm coming too. I'll be right in front row. So,
the rap
right. So,
go ahead.
He told me he wanted to do a show in America, and I said, okay. So I started looking around for different concert halls to do a Nigerian show, and bringing Burna Boy. That was the big, the plugger. Like that actually got me to sit down with a lot of different people that I'm bringing Burna Boy, this multi-million-dollar artist, to you. So, and a lot of people were really ready to do this. So much so, I went to Atlanta for it to find a bigger venue because I didn't think Chicago had the biggest venues at the time. So I went to Atlanta, checked it out, blah blah blah. Come to find out, he said, you know what? No, it's not going to work. It's just not going to happen. So, and God just told me, this is what you need to be doing. You came this far. So instead of plugging my cousin and his whole company and plugging Burna Boy, I just plugged my own company. I created it, and I just started, I found a place first. I found a place where people might want to do a hip hop show. Hip hop shows are very, very hard to do because of insurance and, stereotypes and a little bit of racism. So hip hop shows are hard to do, and they're more expensive to do. But God really opened the door for me just by, you told me one thing. You told me to be, or for something to be a success, all you have to do is work on it. Do 5 things for it a day. That's what you told me. 5 things for it, whatever it is. And that's actually, those 5 things are not that difficult. It takes the big steps and it brings it down to just doing 5 things every day. And that's what happened. I found a place, I found artists, I found somebody to do the promotions, which was the hardest part. And then I put the show on, and it was amazing. And then I did another one, and that was amazing. And then COVID-19 hit. But, so it started something very real. A lot of people are asking me, well, when's the next show? When are you doing the next show? What's going on? The second show was so much better than the first show because of particular business acumen that I learned. So as long as I continue to listen, hear God, and understand, the wisdom comes in experience. Yeah. I love the success that's coming my way.
So Rebel Nation, is that?
Yes, Rebel Nation. It's Rebel Nation International, but Rebel Nation.
What's the meaning of that name, Rebel Nation?
That's interesting. I've always been a rebel at heart. Always. I always have to go against the grain all the time. I've always been that person to march for, different reasons. And I remember, and I get it from, guess who? My parents. My parents were the first people we did a sit-in with Father Michael Flager. We did a sit-in with him maybe 25 years ago. We sat down and we were protesting Walgreens was selling cigarettes to young children. And we did a sit-in.
I love him. I had some meetings with him and all that. I just love him. He's one of the actors in Chicago. Yeah. He
at the time he had long hair at the time. It was so interesting to see him now. He had, right down to here, So yeah, and but that was with my parents. They were I did a lot of marches with them. They did more of evangelist type of marches, but stop the violence, and lead them to Christ type of marches. And now I'm always that one. If somebody needs to speak up, is me. I've already spoken up before other people, so it's part of it. It's always, and I believe that, branding purposes, Rebel Nation. I want everybody in the nation. I want you to be a part of that nation. Yeah. So, and then international is a part of it because I want to involve all types of genres of music, not just what you hear, but anything, any and everything. If it's, you know, I had a tap dancer the last show, you know, so I'm trying to do it all. I'm trying to do everything, you know, available to me that's good. It's got to be good. If it's not good, it's not going on. But yeah, so it's been an amazing journey. You know, AJ has had a lot to do with that as well. You know, he was he provided the headline for my last show. So it was just amazing. Yeah, amazing. Great Afrocentric artist. Yeah.
Awesome. So
yeah,
Leading Lights, what was the impact on you? The impact on you Leading Lights, and then go further and tell me about the name. You know, there was a name we started calling you at Leading Light, the Love Warrior. You know, what is that all about? Yeah.
Well, first, the impact was without Leading Lights, there would be no Rebel Nation, because Leading Lights provided actually the time to literally sit down and map out what you wanted to do with your future and your purpose. And believe me, I have struggled in my mind. It's a secular purpose. It's a secular goals that I have, but the purpose is still the same. You know, it's really to bring people together. It's really to cause attention away from the drugs and the violence that's in the community. You know, is to really change the narrative for what we think of as when we think of Black people or Afrocentricity or even international centricity. You know, like what we think of should change. It shouldn't. Music brings us all together. You know, it's just a reality across the world. So especially with Afro beats right now, oh yes, it's another great part about embracing my Nigerian culture this couple of past years is how spiritual Nigeria and the Nigerian culture is. Even in the music, even if it's Afro beats, there is still such a strong spiritual presence throughout the music because the country is that. Yeah. You know, the country the country shuts down on Sunday and New Year's Eve and Christmas, and it shuts down as opposed to it's not party time. Yeah. Like it's a little taboo. I was there for New Year's, and it's a little taboo to be going to a party. Like, no, it's prayer time. We stay in there till 2:00 praying, and then we're out. You know, we go back home and celebrate. Yeah. You know, with family. Yeah. You know, so it's just that embracing that part. Leading Lights just was just like I said, just an amazing experience to just focus in, just to dial in, give yourself time to realize, okay, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to be successful. And there's no shame in it. You know, there's no shame in being successful, you know, and it's awesome to learn that you even deserve it. Yeah. All of us do, you know, in Leading Lights. So it was awesome. It was just awesome. It really was.
I just wanted to say, you know, to those who are watching, we're actually working on some powerful stuff regarding Leading Lights that we're going to be launching very soon. We had a meeting regarding that earlier today too. We're launching on one side. We're launching what we're calling Leading Lights Workplace for professionals. That is ongoing. We're going to be doing the pilots. These are for people who are in corporate America and all that want to discover how they can make a difference within it and outside, find their purpose. We're launching a new system, new curricula. We have a team that is working on that, and we're going to be having the pilots in January of 2021. So stay tuned for that, guys. If you want to get to know more about the Leading Lights training, please send an email to info@thelifedevelopmentcenter.org. info@thelifedevelopmentcenter.org. For those who have also done Leading Lights training in different places, we're doing what we call the alumni meetup. So we're planning that in November. We're going to be, you know, bringing everybody together again to just share the US alumni and then international alumni too, to just meet together by Zoom or whatever and just, you know, just get to know, share what is going on. So a lot of things going on regarding Leading Lights. We also just put together our LMS, a new learning management system, where the Leading Lights training will be delivered virtually, videos and all this stuff. So all that has been going on through the coronavirus, you know, shut down. We're getting close to when we're going to be, when we'll be releasing everything, piloting everything. So I'm really excited about the new level that the Leading Lights training is going is going into. So awesome.
And I think what made my leading lights training so amazing was that there were so many professionals in mine in particular, my cohort in particular. So it definitely directed me in a particular mindset. You know, we had so many, I think it was all software engineers, really. Yeah. Most of them cloud engineers, software engineers, are studying to be software engineers. So it was really nice. It was really awesome.
So tell us about the Love Warrior. So one of the things we do at the Leading Light also is that we make sure that after going through, getting to know about, the purpose of the person, we try to put that purpose in a name that they can remember. Sometimes we use the acronym of their names. Sometimes we have just a name that summarizes, what their life is all about. So what's the Love Warrior all about?
Well, I don't necessarily remember exactly where we found that term. I know that I always would like to choose light instead of dark. I always choose love instead of hate. So I always want to lean into the emotions of love versus anything else. In anything you're doing, I don't think it's it makes you vulnerable, or I don't think it makes you weak or anything of the sort. I think when you use love, it actually makes you so much stronger. And then you literally can repel a lot of the different nonsense that may come your way, the hating and the negativity or anything. I know hating is huge, but love can repel a lot of those things. So that's why I think that's where a lot of that came from.
Awesome. Yeah. Just a quick
and I love my wife as well. She's amazing. And
for a quick
shout out.
For those who are watching us on Instagram, we're going to be going off Instagram shortly because Instagram allows us 1 hour. But we're still live for the last few minutes on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So you can just come and join us on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube. All right, at Pastor Lam. So yes, so I have like 2 more questions for you. I wanted us to talk about family, and then we're going to talk about your principles. So I'm talking about your family now. You are newlywed, right?
Yes.
And you're a father. You're going to be a father very soon. Just tell me, what has your experience of marriage been so far? Just tell us.
I believe that marriage was the best thing that could have happened to me. So serious. I don't know where I would be. All right. First of all, I wouldn't be in City Light, so I know that for one. I wouldn't be in City Light without marriage. But also, I don't know where I would be without marriage entirely. Her father, and I heard this scripture many times in my life, but her father put it to me very plainly. He said, obviously, when you find a wife, you find a good thing and you receive favor upon the Lord. But that scripture is very realistic or relatable and realistic, like it's seen, because when you are single, things are more difficult. Life is more difficult to pay rent, to pay bills, to travel, to, start a business, whatever it is. When you're single, it's just more difficult. When you're married, you have a partner to help you. So everything is just a lot easier for you. You live together, you handle everything together. So a house, a car, whatever, traveling, kids, everything is just a little more. I couldn't imagine having it now, not to say, this is odd, obviously, but let's say I wasn't married and having a baby. What? I'll be losing my mind. Oh my goodness. Like I would be just in shambles. Or anything of the sort. That's why I give it up so much to these single mothers out here, because it's just so much more. I know what I provide. I actually do. I actually feel what I provide. So if I wasn't there, oh my God, who provides that, or what, like only the Lord can help you, because that's just so much work and responsibility and everything. So, marriage has just taught me what my value is to the world necessarily, but also how powerful 2 people, how powerful 2 people can be. Barack Obama had to be married, obviously, to be president, but would he have gotten to where he did without being married? No. The answer is no. And there's nothing, nobody can tell me different. Nobody would, any great person, you don't see them without being married. I don't, somebody put it on the chat right now. You can't even make over $500,000 without being married. I mean, I'm serious. Over that,
marriage, a lot of people say a lot of negative things about marriage. So some people have become jaded, singles and all that. But marriage is great. When you marry the right person, make the right choice. Marriage is the best thing that's the closest thing to heaven on earth.
Absolutely.
It's a good marriage.
Absolutely.
And of course, the closest things to hell on earth is a terrible marriage too. So, apart from the fact that the spiritual agreement, the ability to exercise your dominion, like my wife and I, once we agree on anything, like we just come together in prayer and just agree on it, that thing is done. That's just it. It is done. Because our agreement is not just spiritual. It is spirit, soul, and body.
Absolutely.
Spiritual and body. We have one practice of, even after sex, this is open. We pray, we agree on stuff, because then our agreement is the closest, like we're in union, and then we agree on really tough issues. Like we bring it before God, and then we see breakthroughs in those areas. We practice that. Right. So marriage is just if you can stay in agreement, there's nothing impossible for you guys to do. Apart from that's just one which is 1,000, two which is 10,000, companionship, sharing of values, complementing one another, bringing forth godly seed, showing forth who Christ is. All these amazing things that marriage brings, and of course, the character that marriage builds inside of you. Like when you are married, you start when you cooperate with the flow of the purpose of marriage, you discover that you start dying to self. You start dying to certain things, because you cannot survive in marriage if you are selfish. You have to start blending. You have to start getting married. So marriage is one of the greatest gifts that God gave us on this earth. Yeah, awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so good. So now let's quickly, if you were going to tell everybody here right now, like from my life, looking back through my life, we're going to share with them 5 principles that is responsible for who I am right now, 5 principles of success and all that. What are those 5 things that you would say?
Okay, that's so tough.
Yeah.
Let's start with obviously right now, I would say be detailed with God. That's my number one right now. Be detailed with God. So I as my wife and I, when we pray, we don't pray that God's going to work it out. No, we don't. God, work this out. No. We give God our way that we think we can work this out. For example, there's an example quickly, and I so had to go because I'm seeing my people calling me for work. I got to go back to work. But we were looking for an apartment, and we saw an apartment for maybe a 1050, and then they rejected us. And we said to God, look, God, we need an apartment for 1050. Can you please, we're going to do our work.
Yeah.
But we have faith that you're going to guide us to an apartment. And we did our work. And I always tell my wife, that's number 2. Faith without works is dead.
Yep.
So we have to do our work. That's what I'm huge on that. Now, just, we talk about it. It's not about praying. And to me, anyway, this is just me, but it's not about praying without, you have to help. You got to give your energy. I can't pray for $1 million and then sit back. No, I have to plan to get $1 million.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to get my $1 million. If I plan for it, God's going, and that's number 3. God is going to pave the way. If you give him this plan like this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want this $1 million by this set amount. I want to get the $1 million by going through these investments, and I want these investments to yield blah, blah, blah. And I will get this $1 million. You're going to get it in half the time because you followed that plan, So I just really believe that there's particular being detailed.
Yeah, I
say be definite
with the infinite.
Yes.
The definite with the
Yes.
infinite. God is
Yeah.
infinite, but a lot of people, they are very easy, when it comes to dealing with God and presenting what they need and what, they're just, they are not clear. They are
Exactly.
nebulous. They are very nebulous. So God tells us what things soever you desire when you pray.
Exactly.
What things, specific things. So be very detailed. So I have lists that I make, right, consistently, that I update of. These are the things that I am standing for with God. My wife and I will call it our petition. We actually have a formal petition that we write out. Like we write out a petition to God, very formal, like a legal petition.
Yeah.
We put scriptures at the top, right? What he has said. Then we now make our list based on what is going on, what we need right now or going into the future. And then at the end, we sign it, and then we keep repeating it and thanking God for it.
Amen.
That on this church building that I'm inside right now, we got it through that petition.
Yes.
Cars that we have, they've been on our petition for some time, that we kept on doing it. Our kids, their schools, their processes, just everything, we put it on the petition. And then we keep on repeating it like we're standing in the court of law. I say, God, you said, there's this passage that we usually use where Jesus said, whatever you shall ask in my name, I will grant it to you. He said, I will grant it. So Lord, we are requesting this grant, petitioning you and all that. And we'll keep on doing that. So being definite is extremely important. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. It's been, and I've just only recently learned that, but has been just so, what does he say? It's been clear because it's been so clear. I've never felt God's presence so vividly. I never have until basically, got married and figured out a true spiritual understanding. It's been very vivid and very clear. Lastly, I would say is just making a decision, deciding one day that I remember watching some, before all of this, I told you, Will and Jada were my people. And Will Smith, when I was teaching, I used to play this Will Smith video with his quotes. I used to play it almost every single day or every week at least. And I used to get, this is a Will Smith video, Mr. Borha, dang, I ain't trying to hear this again, Mr. Borha. Because I was very adamant. He had certain things. He believed. There's one thing of where I don't necessarily follow this, but he said, if it's me and my opponent on a treadmill, I would die on that treadmill before I get off. Meaning you're not going to outwork me. You're just not going to. It's just not going to happen. The same thing he said about if I make the decision, and this is completely backed up by scripture as well. If I make the decision to do this particular thing, he says, quote, now this is the Will Smith, the universe is going to get out of my way. Yeah. Well, it's the same thing. If I speak it out of my mouth, if I just say it, if I manifest it in my mind, I'm sure Joyce, to be a lawyer, she must have done that. She must have been thinking about that from, when she was a child. Yeah. Or Lawrence, the same thing when he used to be an accountant. These are things you just think about, and then you decide one day, hey, I'm doing this, and it's already done. Yeah. And that's something that's just important. There's a
passage in scripture that I think people that are watching should go and meditate on a little bit more. I think it's Deuteronomy 30, is it verse 14 or verse 19? Somebody can help me check it out. It says, I call heaven and earth to record this day against you. That I have set before you, life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore, choose life so that your seed will live. So basically, he's telling them to make a choice. But there's this particular, he said, I call heaven and earth.
Yeah, it's a witness.
This day. So people don't know that. You see, this is what I'm about to say. When you make a choice, the earth hears it. So when we say the universe supports me. Deuteronomy 30 verse 19. When he said the universe will assist me. That's what he's saying. He said the heaven and earth record this day.
Yes.
Make a choice. You see, when we are very decisive and we make definite choices, heaven and earth put a record on it and begins to assist us and begin to stand with us. So the people that you see accomplishing things, it's not because they have two heads or because they're just special. It's because they are decisive and they are definite. If you do that, you start working for you. Yeah.
I totally agree. I think that's the sole difference between a lot of people is just being in the wind about something versus making a decision. And then applying the work that's behind that decision. You don't fail very often. You just don't, So I totally agree. Thank you, Pastor.
Was that number 4 or number 5?
That was a hope number 5 because I got to get going.
Okay,
I hope it was number 5. I appreciate you, though.
Awesome. I mean, thanks so much for joining us and sharing your story. A lot of people have been blessed. Please, if you can all just appreciate Joachim for coming on and sharing his story with us. That'll be awesome. Thank you so much. So we're going to be rounding up, in just in 1 minute now. Tomorrow, again, I'll be coming with somebody else who's going to be sharing their stories. And throughout this week, we're going to have other people coming. I want to thank you for joining Light360. Share the video. If you believe somebody is going to be blessed through what we share today, just share it. It's going to be there on the pages. And thank you, Joachim. People are appreciating you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Sherry, we'll talk.
It's from Nigeria. It's thanking you.
Yes.
This made my day.
It's nice.
So you've been a blessing to people. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us in this conversation. We will be signing off right now. Bye-bye, everyone.
All right.
We'll talk to you later.